I got to share some of my experiences with her, and both of us are sitting there misty-eyed, and that was a highlight, for sure.
I like this. Sorry, I have questions.
Can I tell you my grandmother's 2 near-death experiences?
Yeah.
So, one of them, she had a blood bleeding disorder, and they had to take her to the hospital. And she was floating above her body, and she's watching the surgeons trying to save her, and that they were losing her. And one of them said, "We're losing her. We have to get her husband on the phone. We need to get her husband in here." And they were scrambling around trying to find a phone number for him. And she's watching all this, and so she started saying the phone number. And as soon as she started saying his phone number, back in her body. The second near-death experience that my grandma had was when
These are both your grandmas?
yeah, my dad's mom. The first one with the 4-year-old above her body, that was Caitlin. That was
Caitlin's aunt.
And then the phone number, that was my grandma. And then the second near-death experience that the same grandma had, and she was birthing my uncle. He also died during childbirth. So she died, and she said that it was just so. She was like, it was the light. She was going to the light, and there was like chorus. She said like she's never heard us singing Amazing Grace, and she just, it was so warm and beautiful, and she wanted nothing more to go back. But then somebody said, "Where go your children?" And she realized that she had all these kids still, and she thought, "I can't go, I have to go back." Boom, back in her body. When she was actually dying, and her kids are around her, and my Aunt Shelley, my dad's youngest sister, very strongly psychic, and like people will ask her to go to houses before they buy them to read the energy, and her stories are a whole other thing. Anyway, so she was there with my uncle, her brother, who had died in childbirth, and they were talking about whatever, maybe it was grandma's near-death, something, they got talking, and he was telling her about this recurring dream that he'd had, but he could just remember this pattern, and he drew out this pattern, this unusual kind of tile pattern. And Shelley, who, she's an artist, but she used to take blood and be candy striper. She worked in the hospital that they were in decades ago. And he's drawing this, and she's like, "I know that. That's a floor." And so they went for a walk to there was a wing of the hospital that was closed down, or not having patients in it anyway, but she used to work there. So they went into this room, and it was the floor in the room that he was born in when he died.
That's so weird.
Another aunt, my grandpa had an extramarital affair, and the daughter got adopted out, and I have that. Happy life, very happy, good childhood and everything. And then she had a daughter who was about my age, and there was some genetic sickness in the family, so the daughter said, "Why don't you look into your birth family?" So they did, and then just a few years ago they found them at Gilbreeze, and happy reunion, got together, and we're sisters. And she told my aunt about a recurring nightmare that she had her whole life. It was the scene of my father's death. Like she described the